There's an amazing Rashi over here. Why the Jewish people had to remain in Galut and Mitzrayim for such a long time? Why do we have to remain there, 210 years? So on page 40, Hashem tells Abraham, the Pasuk Tezayin, V'dor Revi Yeshuva Heina. The fourth generation, your kids will be enslaved in a foreign country, 400 years, and Dor Revi, the fourth generation, will return here, Kiloi Shalem Avona Amori Adheina, because the sin of the Amori, which is a genetic name for all the Canaanite nations that live here, will not be complete until then. So therefore we have to remain in a foreign country enslaved, waiting until the cup runneth over for the Amorim, the Canaanites, to get kicked out of this land, and only then can we come back here. This is what Hashem is telling Avraham Avinu in the Brit Bein Absarim.
Do the Jews know?
Hashem is telling Abraham this: your kids are going to have to remain in a foreign country 400 years. Why? Because the sin of the Amori, they don't lose their lease in Eretz Yisrael until the toilet overflows. And that's going to be 4 generations after your kids are exiled. So what's going on over here? If you take a look at Rashi on page 40, the Dor Revi, says Rashi, Pasuk Tezayin, La'acha sheyiglu l'Mitzrayim, after the Jewish people, I'm reading Rashi, page 40, Tezayin, La'acha sheyiglu l'Mitzrayim, after the Jewish people were exiled in Egypt, Yusham Sholosh Dorot, they had to remain in Egypt for how many years? For how many generations? For how many? They had to remain there 3 generations. V'Ravi, and only the 4th generation, Yeshuva Eretz Yisrael, can return to Eretz Yisrael.
Did the Jews in try to know this?
It's written in the Torah, so I guess they knew it, right? Lefisha be'eretz Canaan hoyim edaber imoy. Where was God telling him this? The Brit Bein Absarim was taking place where? In Eretz Yisrael. Vish be'eretz Canaan hoyim edaber imoy v'choretz brizu, and God cut this treaty with him here. K'dichsiv, as God says, Losais l'chos ha'aretz hazois l'rishta. I'm giving you this land to inherit, but first your kids are going to have to go into exile. And the 4th generation will come back here. V'chein haya, says Rashi, and this is exactly what happened. Yaakov yorad l'Mitzrayim. Yaakov went down to Mitzrayim. Say, go out, says Rashi, v'chashov, and figure out Dorotov. Who was Yaakov's son? Yehuda. Who was Yehuda's son? Peretz. Who was Peretz's son? Chetzron. And Kolev ben Chetzron, miboy Oretz hoya. Kolev ben Chetzron, he came back to Eretz Yisrael. Kolev. So it worked out. God's prophecy worked out. So Yaakov's son was whom? Yehuda. So you count Yehuda. His son was Peretz. His son was Chetzron. And his son Kalev, the 4th generation, Kalev did come back. So why do we have to wait in Egypt so many years, folks? So the Torah says, Ki lo sholem avono Amori. Because the sin of the Amori, which is the name of all the Canaanite nations here, because the Amori was a dominant tribe here, the Amori didn't deserve to get kicked out of Eretz Yisrael until then. Why? God never punishes a nation until what? The cup runneth over. And only in the 4th generation did the Amori deserve to be kicked out. So we have to bide our time in Egypt, waiting for the Amori to overflow the toilet.
I just want to say, cup runneth is usually a positive expression. It's usually a positive expression. It's not hot, not like I know.
Not hot?
I know.
So anyway, So what's the message? What's the message? There's a game plan. God always has a game plan, right? We don't know what Hashem's game plan is, but He always has one. Well, let's say if the Amori wouldn't have sinned in the 4th generation. So we would stay in Egypt indefinitely? It's a difficult Rashi to understand. Let's say the Amori wouldn't have used up all of their merits. So we would remain how long waiting?
We couldn't wait any longer.
You're right, because we were in Memtesh Shari Tumah. So you're asking a good question. God would have waited another minute, there'd be nobody to redeem. We'd sink into Nun Shari Tumah. So how do you figure that? Only then was the sin of the Amori up. And it would take 5-6 generations. There'd be nobody left to save. The Jews would sink into Nun Shari Tumah. So there's got to be a plan B, right? There's got to be a plan B always.
They didn't get the Torah.
I think they got to be a plan B. What?
They didn't get the Torah for the Midbar.
So, but they had the 7 Noachai laws before, and it was sinking in the Memtesh Shari Tumah. Right? Pasuk Yud Zayin, Vayi Hashem Eshba Ba'alat Ha'aya, V'hine Taner Roshah L'Lapad Eish Asher Ava Ben Exor Melech. The sun set prematurely. There was a darkness, and there was a Tanur Eish, Tanur Ashan L'Lapad Eish, that passed between the cut pieces. Remember, Hashem told him to what? Take an eglah, take an ace, an ayil, and cut them, right? The covenant between the parts. Brit, the word Brit means to cut. Cut a treaty based on this Brit Bein Abtarim, the covenant between the pieces.
Brit is cut?
The word Brit means to cut, right? To cut a treaty.
Yeah.
Cut a treaty. That's where it comes from.
A treaty.
Cut a treaty. This comes from over here on page 39. Hashem tells him on page 39, Pasuk Tet, Vayomer Elav Chali Egla Mushaleshes, Ve'ez Mushaleshes, Ve'ayel Mushulat V'Torah Gozel. Take from me an eglah. What is an eglah? A calf, a goat, a ram, a pigeon, and a turtle dove.
A gola is wagon.
What?
A gola.
Eglah means a calf. A calf. Rashi said, Shalosh Hagolim, Eglah Mushaleshet. Rashi said, God tells him, take 3 calves. Page 39, Pasuk Tet, Choli Eglah Mushaleshet. So Rashi said, God told him, take 3 calves. Why 3? So Rashi, Pasuk Tes on page 39, Eglah Mushaleshet, Shlosha Agolim, 3 calves. Why? Remez L'Shlosha Parim, this is a sign for the 3 cows. Par Yom HaKippurim. Yom Kippur there was a par Helam Davar Shal Tzibor, and the Egla Arufa. So this is what God was hinting to him. So take 3 calves, Eiz Mushaleshet, and take what? 3 goats? Well, not English translates that. 59, well, not English translates that. Take 3 heifers, 3 goats, 3 rams, a turtle dove, and a young dove. Take to me 3 heifers, 3 goats, 3 rams.
Oh, what, 3?
So Rashi says, we're learning Rashi, page 40, page 39. Again, Rashi 39, Tet. Shlosha golim. You see that Rashi? Page 39, Pasuk Tet. Remes l'shlosha parim, God was hinting that the Jewish people utilize 3 pars, 3 bulls. Par Yom HaKippurim, the bull that was brought on Yom Kippur. Par Helam Dava Shel Tzibur.
What's that?
That's when the Sanhedrin gives a false verdict in a capital crime, in a capital charge. They make an error. The Sanhedrin make an error, and they mislead the Jewish people in a capital offense. So then they have to bring a par helam dava shel tzibur. Sanhedrin has to bring this bull for a mistaken halachic decision. The egla rufa. Egla rufa is a decapitated calf. You find a murder victim in Eretz Yisrael outside of a city, you don't know who killed him. The city near the murder victim has to bring an egla rufa. So therefore, God was hinting to him by these 3 calves that the Jewish people utilize these 3 mitzvot, right? Why 3 goats? The Eis Mushaleshet. The Rashi says, Remes l'soyir hanase b'fnim. On Yom Kippur they brought a soyir l'Hashem. Usirei misafin shel moyed usir chatas yochid. The Jewish people use the goats for the sin offering. The misafin shel moed. So therefore he told them to bring what? 3 goats. Why 3 rams? Ba'ayil mishulash. So Rashi said, we use the ram Osham Vadai, Osham Talui, the Kifsa Shal Chatas Yochid is all a ram. A guilt offering is the ayil, and the Kifsa Shal Chatas Yochid. Torah v'goyzal, Torah ben Yonah. Person couldn't afford an animal, he could bring what? A pigeon offering as a chatas or an olah. So therefore, Kosh Baruch Hu told him to take these what? Types of animals. Pasuk Yud, vayikach lo es kol eila v'yevater osam atovech. V'yiten ish bisrei l'kras ve'eu v'satzipor loy basar. So what did Avraham do with these? What did he do with them? He took all of these and he cut them in the center. He cut them and placed each piece opposite the other. But the birds he did not cut up. Why should I care? 3,800 years later, what's going on over here? He took all of these to Hashem, he cut them in the center, he cut the animals up, placed each piece opposite the other. The birds, however, he did not cut up.
Why?
Why? But Rashi asks why. What's the symbolism of this? So look at Rashi Yud. Vayivata Osam. See that? Vayivata Osam, he cut them. He cut them in the center, in the middle. Pasuk Yud. So Rashi says, you see Rashi Yud, page 39? Chilek loy kol echad l'shnei chalakim. He divided each animal into what? 2 separate parts. Why did he do that? Ve'ein ha'mikveh yotzen le'pshutoi. Lefi shaloy kares imoy brit lishma b'chasai. Because God cut a treaty with him. So in order to guarantee the treaty, he made this bris with him. That this is our physical symbol that we're going to inherit the land of Israel. K'dichsiv, V'yoyim and that day, Karas Hashem es Avram bid Lamor. And that day, God cut a treaty with Avram, telling him that I'll give your kids this land. So what has it got to do with cutting an animal in half? What has it got to do with that? So Rashi says, "Derech karte brit lechalek behema b'lava misera." In the ancient world, if someone cut a treaty, they would take an animal and cut it in half, and the both partners to the treaty would walk in the middle. K'mo shenema lahalan beYirmiyahu Avim bein bitreya egel. Afkan over here too, Tanur Ashan Malapud Eish Asher Ova bein Agzarim. The smoky furnace and the pillar of fire, that represented the Shekhinah. That represented the Shekhinah. So that's why they would make a treaty in the ancient world. Why didn't he cut the bird? But the Jewish people are compared to the Bnei Yonah. As Hashem says in Shir Hashirim, Yonati, Lefikach Bosra Behemot, Remeshul Umas Kulam Holchim. Vesatzipor Loi Bosar, Remesh Yisrael Kayom Loilam. The nations of the world are compared to the behemoths. So they will be cut up and destroyed at the end of time. But the tzipor, he didn't cut up, because the tzipor represents Kodesh Baruch Hu. Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael Kayom in Lolam. Pasuk Yud Aleph. Vayeret ha'ayit al korim vayeshev oisam Avraham. Pasuk Yud Aleph. Birds of prey descended upon the carcasses, and Avraham drove them away. Who are the birds of prey? Vultures. Right? Rashi says that birds, predators, that they look for dead carcasses. Right? So they descended on these cut pieces, and Avram drove them away. So again, there's a lot of symbolism over here. Rashi says this is a symbol for Mashiach. Amazing here. The birds of prey descended on these carcasses. The symbolism, King David would seek to destroy the enemy nations, but God would drive him away, waiting for Mashiach to come. Not time yet. The birds of prey, the birds represent the nations which would try to cancel the covenant by exterminating Israel or preventing Israel from serving Hashem. But descendants of Abraham would drive them away. All of a sudden, Abraham began to shiver. And it happened that the sun was about to set prematurely. A deep sleep fell on Abraham. A great darkness fell on him. And he began to tremble. Abraham did. Why? that this is a symbol of Israel's tsaris, being enslaved by the four monarchies. Red represents Babylon. Darkness was Persia. Great darkness was Greece. And fell upon was the crushing exile of Rome. All of them ruled Israel and Eretz Yisrael. Babylon destroyed the first temple. Rome destroyed the second temple. And the others dominated the land during parts of the second temple period. Thus God warned Abraham that Israel might be subjugated or exiled by these powers, but this would happen only if Israel sinned. It would be 4 generations after the beginning of the Egyptian exile, and the Amorites representing all the Canaanite nations, the Amorites represent all the Canaanite nations, will have accumulated enough sin to deserve expulsion. Because God does not punish a nation until its measure of sin is full. This is an example of his patience. For even the worst sinners are not punished until they have had more than ample opportunity to do tshuva. So God was waiting. Hashem is showing him a vast sweep of Jewish history, all the tsaris that are going to befall Israel. And therefore Abraham began to tremble, and the darkness covered him. But Hashem assures him, David, on page 40, that you won't live to see the tsaris. Hashem gives him a consolation prize to Abraham. You won't live to see the Holocaust. Good news? Page 40, Pasuk Tezvav. Va'aton, you, Abraham, Tovei elavasecha b'shalom. You will come to your fathers in peace. Tikover b'seva tova. You will be buried in a good old age. Don't sweat it, Abraham. You won't live to see the Holocaust.
What are you talking about?
Hashem showed him a sweep of all Jewish tsaris by the Brit Bein Absarim. So Abraham began to tremble, and a darkness fell on him, and he began to shake, rattle, and roll. So God says, wait, you'll come to your parents in peace. Doesn't mean you'll be buried in their cemetery. It means you'll join them in the afterlife in a good old age. So Rashi says, page 40, Tezvav.
How old was he when he died?
Abraham's 175 when he died.
5 years was taken off.
5 years was taken off his life. He shouldn't see Esau become a gangster. Right? So Hashem he should have lived 180 like his son Yitzchak. But God spared him the anguish of seeing his grandson become lowlife.
But Abraham was older than Yitzchak. Abraham was older than Yitzchak.
Yeah. Normally a father is older than a son, usually.
All the time.
Yeah. But anyway, look at Rashi Tezvav. Va'ata tovei elavasecha b'shalom. Tikover b'seva tova.
You're not supposed to be
So Rashi says, Rashi page 40. You see that, David? Vata tavo v'leitira kolela. You won't see all of these tsaris, Abraham. You won't live to see the tsaris. So that's a compensation, right? That's a consolation. All of this suffering that's going to happen to the Yidden, it won't happen in your day. It will not happen in your day. V'leitira kolela. You won't see this. If you'll come elavasecha, you're going to join your forefathers in the afterlife. So Rashi wonders.
What forefathers?
His fathers, his Terach and his grandfather, right? So Rashi wonders. Aviv Obed Avodah Zarah, V'hu Mevasrei Shovi. I love it. His father Terach was an idol worshiper. So what kind of good tiding is it that Abraham is going to join him in the afterlife? Isn't he in the other place? Oh, so that's the answer. So Rashi says, Lamdecha she'asa terach tshuva. From here you learn out And here you learn out that what? That Terach did tshuva. Otherwise, what?
Only after Abraham
Left him. We'll speak about that more tomorrow. Right? As long as Abraham was with his father, Terach did not do tshuva. Only after Abraham left him did Terach do tshuva. So it's a good tidings. Yes, you'll join your fathers in the afterlife because Terach did tshuva. So that's good news. Look at the next Rashi, David. Tikavre b'seva tova. Abraham was buried in a good old age. What's called a good old age? So Rashi says, Rachmiel, what you said. Look at Rashi.
Which one?
Rashi Tezvav, page 40 on the right column.
Okay.
Tikavre b'seva tova. You see that?
Yes.
Bisroy, God, what does Bisroy mean?
Gave him news.
Gave him good news. Sheyase Yishmuel tshuva b'yamav. That Yishmuel would do tshuva while Abraham was still alive. And Esau will not become wicked as long as Abraham is still alive. What you said, therefore, therefore Abraham died 5 years before his time. God wanted to spare Abraham the agony of seeing his grandson become wicked. So therefore God cut 5 years off of Abraham's life. And the very day that Abraham died is the day that Esau became what? A Rasha. Bo bayoim morad Esau. Amazing Rashi here. Others say that what triggered Esau's evil behavior is the death of Abraham. Yiddish of Yaakov.
Esau, yeah.
Others say Esau knew that his grandfather was such a perfect tzaddik. He had attained the status of Adam Koydem Achet. Why is he dying? I'm going to chuck it all. If my righteous grandfather, who reached such a high level, can die, then chuck it all. So others say, Benjamin, the opposite. Esau, what triggered Esau's evil ways? It was dafke, the death of his grandfather Abraham. That's what caused it. But he thought his grandfather had reached the level of Adam Koydem Achet. Perhaps he would live forever, as Adam was intended to. So perhaps he used that as a rationalization for rebelling. Right? Esau had to use some rationalization, so he used the death of his righteous Zayda to go out to evil ways. But be that as it may, Rashi says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took 5 years off of Abraham's, and that's called a good old age. Why is dying before your time a good old age? To spare you what, David? The anguish and agony. That's a good old age. To die without any worries, without any anguish, aggravation. That's called a good old age. Isn't that amazing, Rashi?
If you know your grandson is going to do tshuva,
Yeah.
it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, but if he doesn't live to see it, it's not as bad. In the Olam Haba, the anguish is not as great as when he was on this world. See his... Versteh? So Rashi says it here. Rashi says it again in Parashah's Toldos. Rashi repeats his comment. In Parashah's Toldos, David, he makes a similar comment. Why does Rashi have to repeat himself? He said it here already. Look what he says in Parashah's Toldos. Very similar comment.
Okay.
1 second.
I thought you had a whole bowl of chili over there. You know, so
I'm sure it makes.
God bless you.
He says it over here too. Yeah, Rashi repeats it again.
Okay.
I wonder why on page 75, David. I repeat myself, but why should Rashi?
You say that again.
You say that again. On page 75, David. Page 75, Pasuk Lamed. Lamed. Esav comes to Yaakov and says, pour in some of that red porridge. Pour it in me.
Red wine.
Pour in that red porridge. Because I'm very tired. Therefore he's called Edom. The red stuff. So Rashi comments on page 75, David. Maybe it was borscht. Uh-huh.
Big borscht.
What do they say? Lentil soup is red? I don't know. Orange?
There's red
Orange.
lentils, green lentils, black lentils.
Okay, so
It's nice.
the rental soup. So page 75. Mina Adam Haltani, pour it in. Eftach pi. Listen to this. This is how he talks. I'll open up my mouth and you just pour it in me, Yaakov. I'm too tired even to take a spoon. Eftach pi, I'll open up my mouth. Ushvoch harbe letocho. He had good table manners. Dear Abby wouldn't like that. Remember Dear Abby? She wouldn't like that table manners.
I don't know what, I've been thinking about this a lot.
Pour it in.
About King David.
It's Americans.
Okay, and you know, maybe Asaph had real potential that he could even have been the one.
He could have been. He could have been like King David. He could have been like King David.
Exactly, yeah.
He
Because
could have
there's
been.
so many comparisons between him and King David.
A lot of comparisons. He could have been King David. And King David could have been him. You make the call. Now look at the next Rashi. Mina Adam, why did he call the lentil soup red? Adoshim adumas. Rashi says red lentils.
Yeah,
Red lentils.
green, blue, I don't know.
What's the significance of that? Hmm?
They were on sale that week.
They're on sale at the Machne Yehuda that week.
The significance
So Yaakov stacked up. He stacked.
red lentils.
Yeah.
The significance is that's what was there. These.
Yeah.
V'ota yom met Abraham.
Pink with
Why was Yaakov a chef that day? That's the day that Abraham died. Here Rashi will repeat himself. Shula yired Esav ben Bino yetzel atar b'sra. So he shouldn't see his grandson become wicked.
Who say Rashi says this now?
Rashi's saying you now.
So maybe that's why they would eat lentils because
Right.
They eat lentils.
Where Rashi will explain.
Somebody dies.
Ve'enzu say v'tova shlichush baruch. This is not the good old age that God would promise him. Lefikach, therefore,
It goes around.
Kitzer HaKadosh Baruch Hu chamesh shanim. Therefore, God cut 5 years. Sound familiar? God cut 5 years off Abraham's life. He shouldn't see his grandson become wicked. That would disturb Abraham's old age. But Rashi already told us that in Lech Lecha. Rabbi Yaakov, why is he repeating himself and told us? Help. Sheyitzchak chai 180 shana. Yitzchak lived 180. And Abraham only lived what? 175. How do you say that in English?
175.
Right. Now, why was he cooking lentils, David? Ubishel Yaakov Adoshim. Yaakov was cooking
Rashi
lentils.
says this now?
Rashi says it. Ubishel Yaakov Adoshim. Yaakov was cooking lentils. Lahavroy says Avel. That's called Sudash Havra'ah. Lo Yeleni, when a person comes back from the cemetery losing a relative, neighbors are supposed to give him a Sudash Havra'ah.
Maybe
Serve him, and the main dish should be what? Lentils. Why lentils? The lama adashim shadoymais legalgal. A lentil looks like a wheel. It's round. Shahavelut galgal achoyzev eilam, because the wheel,
you don't want to hear.
sooner or later, it rolls around to everybody. You hear? Sooner or later, everybody dies, and
Who died?
You don't get it.
Abraham died. Shavelus galgal achoyzev eilam. Abraham died, so the grandson was cooking what? Sudas Avraham. The Oval himself is not supposed to prepare the meal. So therefore, Yaakov, as the grandson, was cooking this for his father Yitzchak,
Maybe Asaph was upset.
Sudas Avraham.
He was talking.
So
very-
one reason why lentils, because it's round and what?
Very
And
morbid.
sooner or later it goes around to everybody. Avelus affected. And Rashi gives another reason, but ma dashim ein lo peh, just like a lentil has no opening. Kach ovel ein loy peh. Sh'osada. Ovel's not allowed to talk. I mean, the word an ovel should only talk about what? The niftar. Not about the ball game, the stock market. Ovel is not supposed to open his mouth. Only talk about the niftar. People don't know that. Lefikach haminag, you hear this, David? Therefore, the minag is, while Yelenu in an ovel's house, you give him beitzim. Beitzim are also round, they roll around, and ve'ein lahem peh. Kach ovel ein loy peh. Ovel shouldn't open his mouth unless to talk about the niftar, not about anything else. And Rashi goes on over here on page 76.
Make it fast. I know.
Ovel, kol shlosha yom rishayim ein emes shalom chol adam. The Ovel, the first 3 days, you shouldn't give shalom. Shlosha vat shiva emes shevein hashoyel.
The bacon you can eat on Pesach. Lentils you can't. Right?
Lentil, why can't you eat lentils? Why? It's kidneys?
Are they?
Lentils are kidneys.
Oh, thank you.
But fire them, I have no problem.
Smart. Yeah.
So my question is, Rashi already said this comment, Lech Lecha, that Abraham's life was cut short. Why does he repeat it again here? I don't know. But anyway, food for thought, right? Get it? Food for thought? Food.
Get it.
Okay. So Abraham hears that his nephew is kidnapped. He becomes Rambo. Page 37.
You didn't just see that Rambo movie, did you?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
When his wife is kidnapped, he doesn't do anything. His nephew is kidnapped. He becomes Rambo. He mobilizes the Duvdavani Commando, Duvdavani Brigade.
Page 37.
Page 37, Pasuk 14.
Okay.
See that?
Want me to read?
Actually, how did he know that his nephew was kidnapped? There was no cell phones then. You want to read 13. 36:13, David.
Message button?
Page 36:13. There was no SMS.
CNN?
No CNN. How did he know? See Rashi, Chumash, 36 Yud Gimel. No, Vayovay Apolit, Vayaged Lavram Ivri, Shochem. A survivor of the war came, a refugee came and told Avram Ivri that his nephew had been kidnapped. Why is he called Avram Ivri? Why is he called Avram Ivri?
That's the only place that happens. Right?
That he's called Ivri.
Yeah.
Rashi said, Shabom Eva Hanar. He came from the other side of the river. So
The
what?
other side of the tracks. The better side.
Ivri, we're always on the other side. We're one against the world. The UN,
I like
Israel versus the UN,
That's a good one.
right?
It always bothered me what that meant. Now,
Shabom
now-
Eva Hanar.
Crystal clear.
We stand alone. We always on the other side. Avram Ivri. Who is the polit? Who is this, what do they say, refugee? How do they say in English? 1413.
How do they say what?
How does English translate the polit?
I'm a refugee.
14.
There came one who had escaped.
You know that was-
Escape?
Right side.
Escape from the insane asylum. The polit. Fugitive. They say fugitive. They came to fugitive.
David James.
Yeah.
That's me. That's my name.
Told Avram the Ivri.
Wait for 60
David
something.
Gent, right? So, who was this guy? Why was he so nice that he tipped off Abraham to go save his nephew? So Rashi says, look at Rashi, David, page 36, Yud Gimel on the left column.
Who was he?
Who was he? Og. Og, who survived the Milchama. Og. He survived the Milchama, and he came to tip off Abraham that his nephew, what? He has been kidnapped. Why was he such a nice guy? Huh?
This is Og who escaped from
There was
the
Og.
flood.
Right. Og. Was he such a nice guy? So the Medrash says no. Rashi quotes over here, his intention was, he had his eye on Mama Sarah, who was Miss Israel. So his game plan was to be what, David? That Abraham gets knocked off in the war, and then he can move in on Sarah. That's what Rashi says.
Sarah had
What?
They had magical powers. They could transform. They were like the Transformers.
What do you mean a giant? He was like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Doesn't he have a normal girlfriend?
Oh, he was like 8 feet tall?
Yeah.
No,
And the
I mean,
Medrash says he was as big as Mount Everest. That's a metaphor, David. It's a metaphor.
no,
He was very...
No, they said that the Arab was able to transform themselves into small people.
He's not able about it. It's a metaphor. He was very tall, but he...
Okay, so I don't know. I said
Right?
what they said about the
Remember,
Arab.
I got it to Gemara is
That's how they had children.
exaggeration. He was very tall,
The
but
sons of God had
NBA
children-
players have normal
children
girlfriends.
With,
So
women.
his game plan was that Abraham would get killed and he could move in on Sarah.
I don't know how they do it.
That's why he tipped them off. So Abraham mobilizes his forces. He has confederates with him. Who are they? Honor, Eshkol, and Mamre. These were Canaanites who were righteous Gentiles. You hear this? And Abraham had a bris with them, and they joined Abraham's raiding party to go free what? To go free Lot. So how many were part of Abraham's army? How many?
A lot.
14. Pasuk 14, how many, Rabbi Yaakov? How many?
A little.
How many were in his party?
318.
318 men.
Who?
Abraham's raiding party.
Oh. And what,
The commando
What did you
raid.
say about 14?
Pasuk 14.
Huh?
Verse
Oh,
14.
verse 14. Sorry. 318. That's not really a big army, is
Right,
it?
he mobilized.
Not at all.
How many did they have at Entebbe? They had more than 300?
They must have been very strong.
Entebbe.
The truth is, you
Hmm?
can beat no matter how many. If they're coming at you, you can beat them. You go and try to attack them, you probably will. I don't know if you tried to attack them. Maybe they had God's help because it was Abraham.
Rashi makes a strange comment that it's really Eliezer alone. Gematria of his name is 318. Eliezer's gematria, how much? 318. Doesn't mean, again, David, it's a metaphor. It means the schus of Abraham alone.
Eliezer is
Eliezer's gematria, good at math.
318. Yeah. You got 41 right there, and you have 727, 207, 41.
Who, you want an 8?
248.
Want an 8?
Oh.
248, does that sound about right?
318 altogether, Eliezer. So again, it doesn't mean he was the only guy, David. It means in his schus.
Elazar.
He took 318, but it's the schus of Eliezer alone that he was Menasheach. He was such a great man, Eliezer was.
Is there an iron in there? How do you spell Eliezer?
Look at Rashi. Rashi spells it out for you.
Eli.
Aleph Lamed Yud, Ayin Zayin Reish.
I didn't know there was an iron
Aleph Lamed Yud, Ayin Zayin Reish.
there. So that's definitely a 318. Exactly 318.
Yeah. So Abraham, he returns, he frees his nephew. See Pasuk 16? Rabbi Yaakov, read Pasuk 16. What happens?
16.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pasuk 16, right?
And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
He didn't only free Lot, he freed like the Entebbe raiders. They freed everybody, right? Abraham was a real hero, right? All of a sudden you get this Malki Tzedek character. See Pasuk 18? Umalki Tzedek Melech Shalem Hoitzi Lechem B'yayin Ukoy Le'elyon. Malki Tzedek, the king of Shalem, brought out bread and water, and he was the priest to the Most High God.
Wasn't that shame?
That was Shem ben Noach. Now this is the closest you get to the Chumash to mention Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is not written in the Chumash. The closest is Melech Shalem. Look at Onkelos, David. Pasuk Yud Ches. Who's Melech Shalem? The Onkelos Yud Ches, David. The Malki Tzedek. Malki Tzedek Malka, the Yerushalayim. Look at Onkelos. Yud Ches. The Malki Tzedek Malka, the Yerushalayim.
Bread. Brought him wine and bread.
Right. So look, like David said, who's Malki Tzedek? Shem ben Noach. Why was he called Malki Tzedek? Malki Tzedek means my king is righteous. Who's my king? Kodesh Baruch Hu, my king is righteous. This is Shem ben Noach. Why did he bring bread and water? Why not a diet zero and a pastrami sandwich? A Coke zero. A Lech and
Not to give him cholesterol.
Kach oisim liyeh. Rashi said in the ancient world, people would come back from war weary. They would bring the victors bread and wine. Shem was showing that he's not upset that he killed his kids, because those guys in the war were the descendants of whom Malki Tzedek and Abraham killed them in the war. So he's saying, I'm not roigus on you, they're lowlifes anyway. No hard feelings, Abraham. You're also my descendant.
They were all from the Bnei Shem.
Right. Shein beliboy all of al shahorik et banav, because he killed Kedaloimer. Kedaloimer melech Elam. Elam is a son of Shem.
But I thought that was Nimrod.
Kedaloimer.
He's from Tham.
Some say that Amaropha was Hammurabi. Some say Amaropha was Hammurabi. Abraham was a contemporary of Hammurabi.
Yeah, they established very good laws. They established very...
You didn't think he didn't get it from Abraham? You think he didn't get it from Abraham, those laws? What do you think?
Semites, whatever, from somebody good.
So he was...
Got it from Noah.
Right.
How do we know Noah wasn't flavor? It says
He knew which animal was kosher, which wasn't, right?
So you drink the one from Noah.
So Malki said the Kohen Le'el Elyon. See that? So he was the king of Jerusalem. Vayivacheyu, and he blessed him. Vayoyim Aborach Avram Le'el Elyon, Kohen Shemayim V'aretz. Blessed Avram to the Most High God, the maker of heaven and earth. Right? Vayivorach El Elyon, Hashem Yigin Tzarech Avidech, Vayiten Loi Meiser Mikoil. And Avram gives him Meiser. Why did Avram give him Meiser, David? Look at strange Rashi here. Lefi Shehoya Kohen. Because Shem ben Noach was a Kohen, and therefore Avram gave him Meiser. You see this? Shver Rambam, Rebbe Nashi. In Hilchos Malachim, the Rambam says that Yitzchak Avinu established Meiser. Yitzchak. Why does the Rambam skip here? Look at Hilchos Malachim. The Rambam says, who invented the concept of Meiser? Yitzchak Avinu. But it says right over Yitel Loi Meiser Mikol. Why does Rambam skip this fossil? Well, I don't know.
This is before Torah was given.
Right? Yitzchak was also before the Torah was given.
Yeah.
So the Rambam says the 7 Noachide laws, Avram added Milah, Yitzchak added Meiser. But why? He added Meiser.
Added to what?
Yitel Loi Meiser Mikol.
Added to what?
Look at the Rambam Hilchos Malachim. Right, but they got it 7 Noachide laws, and they got others until they got to Mitzrayim. Right? So he gave him Meiser because he was a Kohen. Malki Tzedek was a Kohen. Okay. You getting this? Yeah? You got it? You right? Shver Rambam, no? You dalit kaf.
They observed Torah before Torah was given.
You know, yeah.
Man.
Gemara in Adorim tells us, here is David. Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted to make the kahuna should come out of Shem ben Noach. But since he blessed Abraham before he blessed God, so therefore God passed by him and he gave it to Abraham. First he blessed God, first he blessed Abraham, then he blessed Hashem. Abraham said to him, do you bless the Eved before you bless the master? As soon as Abraham said that, Hashem gave him the kahuna. Hu Kohen ben Zaroi Kohen. But Abraham also comes from Shem. Abraham also comes from Shem. You know that? What did the king of Sodom say to Abraham? Page Chav Aleph, David. You see that? Page 37, Pasuk Chav Aleph. V'yoyim melech Sodom al Abraham, ten li nefesh v'chush kach lach. Give me back the people, and you can keep the booty, spoils of war. See Rashi Chav Aleph? Ten li nefesh. What does Rashi say? Ten li nefesh. Min hashvi sheli shehitzalta. Harza li agufim lavadam. Return me only the people, and you can keep the what? The Chevy.
I'll take the caddy, you take the Chevy.
Ten li Chevy. You keep the Volvo and I'll keep the Chevy.
It really wasn't the best deal, but it was good.
I have a niece, Chevy.
Just one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You want more than that.
My sister's daughter is a Chevy.
So he gave back all the
Yeah.
Hot Chevy. Hot Chevy.
It was called a Chevy. Nice car, right? Chevy.
so he gave back all the people, right? So the Gemara in Adorah makes a comment on this. Why were we punished that we have to be what? Slaves in Egypt? Because Abraham gave back these people to Sodom. He could have kept them and made them Tachas Kanfei Shechina. So as a tikkun, we had to go to Mitzrayim. Yeah. Pretty interesting, huh? Abraham would have kept, if he would have kept the people, he would have made them righteous Gentiles. But he gave them back to Sodom to be pagans. And as a punishment, we had to go to Mitzrayim.
So we can blame it on Abraham.
What?
I thought we blamed it on Sarah.
No. So we have to do a tikkun. That's why we have to do a tikkun, right? No. Yeah. Any questions? Koine Shemayim V'Aretz. Who was the first astronaut before Alan Shepard? According to Rashi here, it was Abraham. Take a look. Bereshis Tezvav, Pasuk Hey.
Astrology.
No, look at Bereshis Tezvav, Pasuk Hey. Genesis 15:5. You know, David? You want to read what pasuk? What page is that? It's at page 38. Want to read that? Pasuk Hey. God took him outside. Hashemayma. God took him outside. When he took him outside, he says, look to the heavens and count the stars. If you're able to count them, that's how your children will be. That's why the Jews invented Hollywood, David. Every Jew is a star. Get it? Every Jew is a superstar. We invented Hollywood. What do you mean he took him outside? You see that Rashi? God took him outside. He took him outside to see the stars. He took him above the stars. Leave your astrological signs behind. You saw that you're not going to have a son. According to the zodiac sign, you're not destined to have a child. Avram ein loy ben. Aval Avraham yesh loy ben. Avram won't have a child, but Abraham
For sure.
will have a son. Right?
But they're the same person.
Mishana Mokoim, Mishana Shem, Mishana Mazal. You change a person's name, you change his Mazal. Right? Right? But he already had Yishmael, didn't he? Not yet.
Yishmael wasn't a good guy.
Yeah.
Why did Abraham have Abraham as a son?
So God changed his name, changed his mazel. Sarai loy telet, avul Sarah telet. Ani koi lechem shem acher, vishtana hamazal. I'm going to change your name and your wife's name, and when you change your name, you change your mazal. So Avram and Sarai can't have a kid, but Abraham and Sarah will be able to have a kid. Rashi said he actually blasted him off above the stars. So he's looking down on the stars. Starry, starry night. So Abraham was the first astronaut. According to Rashi, God lifted him above the atmosphere and said, look at the stars. Without a spaceship. So look at Pasuk Vav. V'hemin b'Hashem v'chshvei lo tzedakah. He believed in Hashem, and Hashem reckoned it tzedakah for Abraham. What does that mean?
What page? I'm set.
Pasuk 39, Pasuk 38, page 38, Pasuk Vav, right? Pasuk Vav, yeah, what does he say? Yeah. So what's he saying in Pasuk Vav? Pasuk 6. And he trusted in Hashem. And God reckoned it to him as righteousness.
Tshuva is return, isn't it?
Rather, Abraham submitted himself totally to God, placing in God his total confidence. And Hashem reckoned it to him to righteousness. God considered Abraham's faith an act of righteousness.
Abraham knew the future. Right?
What?
Abraham knew the future.
Well, Hashem showed him the future.
How is that together?
How's that?
How is it 60?
Hashem, he believed, he trusted in Hashem. Whatever he told him, he believed. And Hashem considered it tzedakah. Look at Rashi says, V'hemin b'Hashem. See Rashi Vav, David? The bottom of 38, V'hemin b'Hashem. Lo shah lo oisal zois. He didn't ask for a sign. When Hashem promised him children, he didn't ask for a sign. See the bottom Rashi on 38, Vav? Aval Yerusha sa'aret shah lo ois. When it comes to inheriting the land of Israel, he did ask for a sign. He said, B'ma'eda, how will I know that I will inherit the land of Israel?
That he was punished. He
Huh.
should have believed in that for no other reason.
Why did he ask for a sign?
That was a sin.
So, Vayachshaveh tzedakah. Rashi explains why he asked for a sign and why he didn't. See page 39, the top Rashi, David. Vayachshaveh tzedakah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chashava la'Avram l'schus l'tzedakah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu considered it for Avram merit and righteousness on a munah he believed in. He didn't really ask for a sign. He said to God, in what merit will my kids merit Eretz Yisrael? What's the merit that my kids will merit Eretz Yisrael? In what merit? He believed that we would get Eretz Yisrael. Hashem promised, but he wanted to know in which merit will we keep Eretz Yisrael. So Hashem told him, B'schus HaKarbanot, and therefore take Karbanot. B'schus HaKarbanot. He didn't doubt Hashem's promise that we're going to get this Gazeh, but he wanted to know in what merit will we keep Eretz Yisrael. Be'ez Schus Teskayim Ba. And Hashem answered him, B'schus HaKarbanot, and therefore right after that, Hashem tells him, take the cows, take the goats, take the rams, and the schus of the Karbanot, your kids will keep Eretz Yisrael. Okay?
But we lost
But thank God we're back. We're back for good, Baruch Hashem. Yeah?
we can't get kicked out of them.
No, we're back for good. Baruch Hashem. So God said we'll be enslaved 400 years. Doesn't he say that? Rashi makes the whole cheshbon. They're actually in Egypt only how many 210. You want to go to cheshbon with me or you don't? It's on page 39, Rashi Yubet. Rashi Yud Gimel. We were not in Egypt 400 years, so how could God say we'll be enslaved 400 years? So Rashi gives the whole cheshbon. You want to go through it?
Yeah.
Okay, page 39, Yud Gimel. Rashi, Kigei Yazaracha, your kids are going to be strangers in the night. So Rashi says, doesn't mean we're actually in Cairo 400 years. What does it mean? You with me or not? Yud Gimel Rashi. Keshenoilad Yitzchak, at sheyotzu Yisrael Mitzrayim, Arba Mea Shana. From the birth of Yitzchak until the Exodus was exactly how many years? 400 years. Ketzad, how is the cheshbon? Yitzchak ben Shishim Shana Kishnel Yaakov. Yitzchak was 60 years old when Yaakov was born. The Yaakov, you're Mitzrayim. When Yaakov came down to Egypt, how old was he? 130. So who's good in math? 60 plus 130 is how much? 190. Mitzrayim, in Israel, in Egypt, we remained 210 years. So there you have your 400. You hear? How much is 190 and 210? Who's good in math? How much is 190 and 210? Rachmiel.
190.
190 and 210 is how much?
400.
How much?
400.
So here you have it. Get it? So the clock began ticking with the birth of Yitzchak. From the birth of Yitzchak until the Exodus, that was 400 years. Again, Yitzchak was 60 when he gave birth to Yaakov. When Yaakov went down to Mitzrayim, the Pasuk said he was 130. So 60 and 130 is 190. In Mitzrayim we remained 210. So 190 and 210 is 400 years. Wow. So the cheshbon is okay, right? Any questions, comments?
Yeah, why were they enslaved?
What?
Why were they enslaved?
Why? It's a good question. Why were we enslaved? What sin did we commit that we have to be slaves? I think it's called the school of hard knocks. You're asking a good question. We didn't commit no sin yet. Why are we enslaved? It's a bomb kasha he asked. The answer is, you asked a good kasha, Rabbi Yaakov. You asked a good kasha, Rachmiel. What do you want from us? There was no sin, there were no people yet. Doesn't say we did nothing wrong. So why are we enslaved? The answer, my friend, is in Leviticus. The answer, my friend, is not blowing in the wind. The answer is not blowing in the wind. Look where the answer is found, okay? The answer to Rachmiel's good kasha is found on page 400, Pasuk Nun Hey. It says so clearly, Rachmiel. Page 400, Pasuk Nun Hey. Wow. Page 400, Maftir, Rachmiel. Your kasha is answered. Page 400, Maftir. 1 minute.
401.
No, page 400, Maftir.
Kilo ben.
You want to read it slowly?
Kili b'nei. B'nei Yisrael Avodim. Haim.
Avodaihem. What is the pasuk saying? Anybody take a crack at it?
To me, the people of Israel are servants.
What?
They are my servants whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. Where I am the Lord your God. But what does that have to do with sinners?
The tafkid of a Jew is to be an Eved Hashem. How do you learn to be an Eved Hashem, Rachmiel? You got to go to Eved school. Where do you learn to be an Eved?
Basic training.
Basic training. You got to go to the Harvard University of Eved school. What's that called? Cairo University slime pits. The Torah says clearly, I took them out of Egypt. I put them in Egypt and took them out to train to be an Eved. How do you learn to be an Eved Hashem? Rachmiel, you got to go to Evet school. Evet school. Hello. It ain't no punishment. You like that? It's an open puzzle. So this answers page 39, right? This answers page 39. Why we had to be slaves. Page 39. This answers why did the Jewish people have to be enslaved?
Say it again in 2 sentences. Why do we have to be slaves?
Because what's the purpose of Am Yisrael? What's the purpose of Am Yisrael? Look at page 400. You just read it. You just read page 400, the Maftir. What's the purpose of Am Yisrael? Rachmiel, you didn't read it, so read it again. You ain't got it?
Yeah, because me.
The Jewish people are supposed to be an Eved Hashem. How do you learn to be an Eved Hashem? You got to go to Evet school.
Yeah.
Chen backwards is Noach. Noach motza chen beine Hashem. Why does Lech come right after Noach? Im loy noach lecha, lech lecha. Im loy noach lecha, lech lecha. Get it?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Get it? Any questions, comments? Again, saying Saint Talimot Lebracha, right? On Zion Cheshvan, right? Again, saying Saint Talimot Lebracha. Yesterday, right?
Last night.
Monday night. We began Monday night, right? Zion Cheshvan. Mar Cheshvan. Nachon? Any questions, guys? So, Rabbi Yaakov, how do you like the title? I'll bounce it off you. Moshe and his foster mom. Is Yichud a problem? Moshe and his foster mom, dash, is Yichud a problem?
Okay.
They're short of word. It's not a long title. It's a long title, no? It's a long title. How do I condense it? Moshe and his foster mom. Is Yichud a problem?
Yeah, it's a good title.
It's a good title. There's no shorter word than problem, right? There's no shorter word than problem. No.
An issue, but the same, but the same size.
Is Yichud a problem?
Yeah.
Right? Issue and problem the same, the letters.
Yeah.
Moshe and his foster mom. Is Yichud a problem? So that's... I wrote years ago about Yichud. I could just recycle it and... Right, yeah. They kept the Torah before it was given, so is Yichud a problem? Very interesting, very interesting. Right, guys? Yes, my dear friends? So, what should we learn now? Whatever you guys want. We still have time.
What's the Haftarah for?
The Haftarah is Noach. It's from
Noach or Lecha?
The Haftarah Lecha. You're right, of course, it's Lech Lecha. It's Yeshayahu, you see that? It's Yeshayahu 40. Actually, Ashkenazim begin on Yeshayahu Mem Aleph 41. 41, verse 29. You see that? Notein layov koach ulein onim otzma yarbeh. In our book, it's page 45. It's Isaiah 41, verse 29, right? I think so, yeah?
28.
Noishon layov koach ulein onim otzma yarbeh. God gives strength to the weary, and those that have no power, God gives them superpower. Yeah. So how was Abraham to defeat the mighty kings, the 4 and the 5 kings? Because Hashem gave Noishon Yov Koach. This is tied into the Haftarah, to the Parashah. Noishon Yov Koach Olein Onim Otzma Yarbeh. It was a world war. It was the first world war in history. The kings against the kings. It's a world war. Little Abraham, how was he able to defeat them? He had divine aid. Noishon Yov Koach Olein Onim Otzma Yarbeh. So this ties into the Haftarah, to the Parashah. See? Do they translate like that? God gives strength to the weary, and those who have no power, God gives them superpower. Yes, Rabbi Yaakov, does he translate like that? Isaiah 41:29, no? Or it's Isaiah 40:29.
40:29.
40:29.
13 Layek Koach. He gives power to the faint, and to those who have no might, he increases strength.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he did to Abraham. Otherwise, how was he able to free his nephew, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why was he responsible for his nephew?
Blood is thicker than water. But again, you see, if you look at verse 8 in the Haftarah, verse 8, This also ties in why we had to be slaves in Egypt. Yaakov, remember you asked me why they had to be slaves in Egypt? What did we do? Look at Isaiah 40. After Yisrael, Pasuk 8. Avdi Yaakov. You're supposed to be my slave. Avdi Yaakov. You see that?
Avdi Yaakov. Asher b'charticha. Zera Abraham. Ohati.
So we're supposed to be an Eved Hashem. How do you learn to be an Eved Hashem? You go to Eved school. Right? That's 41:9, no? Yaakov, how do you have that? Or 41:8 in your Isaiah? 41:8. How you read?
But you, Israel, are my servant.
I'm my servant.
Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
Okay, so we're supposed to be a servant of Hashem, no? Avdi. After Yisrael, Avdi. So this also ties in why we had to be an Eved in Mitzrayim. I think so, right? I think so, yeah? The Haftorah, page 45, right? This ties into the Haftorah. Beautiful. Basic training, like Rabbi Yaakov said, it's basic training. That's what you said, didn't you? And God says it right here. You Jews have to be my servant. After Yisrael Avdi. Asher b'charticha. The highest calling is to be an Eved Hashem, right? What's written on Moses' tombstone? Do you know? Guys, what's written on Moses' tombstone? One sentence. You with me? Page 646, Pasuk Hey. The highest title a person can receive in life, the supreme title, is what Moses got. 646, Pasuk Hey. What did it say there? Anybody? 646, Hey. Deuteronomy 34:5.
Moses, the servant of the Lord. Servant of the Lord.
For the Lord. That's it. You can't get higher than that. Well, you're Eved Hashem.
Eved Hashem, yeah.
That's it. One line on his tombstone. To be an Eved Hashem, that's the supreme goal. Wow. So you had to go to school. Eved school. Rachmiel, what's Eved school? Harvard? What's the Harvard of Eved school? The slime pits in Cairo. Don't you get it? Not a punishment. Yeah.
The slime pit were...
Slime pits of Cairo. That's the Evet school.
Yeah, well, why the slime pits? Why
Well, how do you learn to be an Evet? You want to be a carpenter. You got to go to carpenter school, don't you? You become a carpenter. You wake up one morning, you're a carpenter.
Yeah.
No, you got to go to carpenter school.
Yeah, you go to a carpenter and then carpenter.
You become an apprentice. So you got to apprentice to an Evet. That's what it is to be an Evet.
So we had to.
Yeah.
So we had to be an apprentice to Moshe.
Apprentice in Egypt to learn the trade. Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
Yeah, well,
To say yes, boss. Yes, boss. To learn how to say yes, boss. Right?
I know somebody who actually had written on his stone.
On his tombstone?
Yeah, he had written. I told you I was sick.
Really? It's not a joke?
Really.
I told you I was sick.
I told you I was sick.
How old was he?
He was an older man, and he said this was.
That's what he wanted on his
He was the
tombstone.
building manager at his Kodesh, for sure.
what's
The building
say,
manager he was?
Yeah.
What's the say on Moshe?
On Moshe's tombstone.
Evet Hashem.
Evet
That's all it
Hashem,
says.
servant of the Lord.
Moshe Evet Hashem. That's it. You can't get higher than that. Moshe Evet Hashem. That says it all.
Where's the tombstone?
On
Moshe's
tombstone.
tombstone. Torah says what's written on Moshe's tombstone. You didn't know that? The end of the Torah. V'yom Hashem Moshe Evet Hashem. That's it. Don't need more than that. Evet Hashem. That's why we had to go to Egypt to be slaves. It wasn't a punishment. You had to go to basic training. Learn how to be an Eved Hashem. You got to go to Eved school. The Harvard University of Eved school is Mitzrayim. Or the Columbia University of Eved school is Mitzrayim. Anyway, Zehu, right?
Hebrew University.
The Hebrew University. The Yeshayahu tells us, it ties in beautifully. We're called an Eved. That's what Hashem says. So you got to learn how to be an Eved. Not a punishment. Nachon? Yeah. Ki ani Hashem Elohecha machzik yimenecha. Listen to this beautiful Haftarah. This week, I Hashem, I want to hold your hand. Machzik yimenecha. I'm holding.
He got a punishment to be a slave.
What's like machzik
Slave
yimenecha?
is not a good thing.
To be an Eved Hashem is the highest call.
No, but to go to school to be a slave, you say it's a process.
That's what I.
We see the Canaan, you got a curse of being a slave.
Depends. It depends. God says, listen, I machzik yimenecha. What does that mean? I hold on to your right hand, right, Rabbi Yaakov? I want to hold your hand. Isn't it amazing? Yeshayahu 41:13. Can you read that? This week's Haftarah. 41:13, Yeshayahu. 41:13. I Hashem, your God, I hold on to your right hand. I want to hold your hand. Yes or no? 41:13.
For I, the Lord your God, will hold your right hand.
I Hashem, your God, will hold your right hand.
Yeah.
Will hold.
Hold your right hand.
I want to hold your hand.
Saying to you, fear not, I will help you.
Fear not, I will help you. Ani azarticha, Ezra. Amazing pasuk, Rachmiel. I want to hold your hand. Hashem says, I want to hold your hand. Gotta write this down. Isn't that amazing, guys? Are you with me, Rachmiel? Are you with me in this? Hashem says, I want to hold your hand. They had Jewish, the Beatles had a Jewish manager, Brian Epstein. He used to. I read when they went on touring, he made sure that he has a shul near the concert hall. Brian Epstein. You know the story of how he became their manager? You hear this, Menashe? It's not a joke. In this biography of Paul McCartney, he says they were singing in a club in Liverpool. And they were unknown, teenagers. This guy walks over to them. He says, listen, you guys need a manager? They asked him, what's his name? He says, my name is Brian Epstein. So Paul says to the guy, let's have a meeting over here. Paul said, let's hire him. They said, why? My mother told me, Jews are very good with money. Jews are very good with money. Brian Epstein is Jew. You're hired, and the rest is history. Pretty amazing, huh? The rest is history, as they say. Al tira ki imcha ani. You hear what Hashem says? Look what he says. Amazing Yud. Al tira, don't be afraid. Ki imcha ani, I'm with you. Al tishta, don't panic. Kani elehecha, I am your God. Imatzticha, what does that mean? I will give you. I will what? Strengthen you. Apazarticha, I will also help you, right? Ezra, help you. After machticha, I will support you. Biyamin tzidki. What does that mean?
I will uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness.
Of the right hand of
hand of my righteousness.
Or my right hand, no?
That's what it says here.
Biyamin tzidki. With the right hand of my righteousness.
Tzidki is my righteousness.
Right, and Biyamin is right hand, no? But Hashem said, I'll give you support, Ezra, Timicha, don't be afraid. Just amazing after current events because Iran is threatening to blow us off the map this week. The defense minister of Iran yesterday, it's amazing.
What?
He's just threatening to do away with us.
Wow.
They said they got the bomb already. So Hashem says, don't be afraid. Don't panic. Amazing. Menashe, Kawinki Dinky. It's amazing. In Parashah, the week always speaks to current events in Israel. Hashem says, don't worry. Be calm. Empty threats.